What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Pokemon Sword and Shield VGC 2021 Series 10 video. Now, with the new Series 10 rules, we have seen a large influx of Xerneas popping up in the ladder now that Dynamax isn't viable, because that actually makes Xerneas just a little bit better, and that little bit pushes it over the top and makes it one of the best Pokemon in the format. So yeah, a lot of people have been asking me, Marcos, I'm struggling with Xerneas, how do I deal with this thing? It feels so broken. So that's what today's video is going to be addressing. It's 5 Pokemon you can be using to beat Xerneas. And if you guys enjoyed this point in time, do me a favor, leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because I bring you daily Pokemon Sword and Shield content. And answer my comment question of the day. What do you think about this style of video? I'm editing it a little bit differently, takes slightly more effort, but I think it's well worth it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. This is unscripted, but I do have a bunch of notes in front of me as well as a damage calculator. So we're going to go ahead and start off with number 1 on this list. You know them, you love them. It's Incineroar. Now, Incineroar is actually a very common Pokemon in all of VGC, but especially in restricted formats, it sees a lot of usage with a special defensive, whether you're running like Careful or Sassy, 252 or 236 HP, 236 special defense. The rest you can put wherever you want that. I usually just put 4 into attack and I think 36 into defense. And this set's going to be Fake Out, Parting Shot, Roar, and either Darkest Lariat or Flare Blitz, whichever one your team requires more. Now, the reason this set is actually really solid for beating Xerneas is because Roar is able to force the Xerneas out from the field, making it so that Geomancy it just went for is completely invalidated. Now, on top of that, even if they are able to go for the Geomancy and hit you with the Moonblast, a timid Xerneas will not be able to one-shot this Incineroar. You will live and with your Figgy Berry get a little bit of health back and then roar them out. On top of that, if you are facing a modest Xerneas, you still have a chance to live. It's about 56% chance that you'll get knocked out, so that means 44% chance to live, so there's still some hope there. Incineroar is just typically a very good Pokemon overall. It's also a very good check to Zacian if you decide to run Flare Blitz, which I think is better, but on a lot of teams I've been opting for Darkest Lariat because I struggle against Calyrex Shadow. But it's a good Pokemon overall. You can fake it out on the turn it goes for the Geomancy and then deal with it with a partner Pokemon, or if that isn't working out, you can actually just go ahead and roar it. So yeah, I think Incineroar is one of the best Xerneas answers in the format right now, but there are a couple more, and some of them might surprise you. Some of them might make you think, wow, this is actually like really cool, but these are things that you just learn from playing a lot of restricted formats over time. The next one is going to be Volcarona. Now, Volcarona is really interesting because it once again is not only a Xerneas answer, but a Zacian answer, but Zacian is something we'll cover in the future. Right now, what we're focusing on is Volcarona's matchup versus Xerneas. Now, this set once again is focused around forcing the Xerneas out, but it also is able to eat a hit pretty easily from Xerneas. What you're going to be running is a Wiki Berry, Flame Body, Whirlwind, Rage Powder, Heat Wave, and that last move can be whatever you want it to be. There are a lot of options you have with Volcarona. It has the option to run String Shot as a speed control move. It has Struggle Bug as a way of decreasing the damage output from your opponent, or you could just run Protect. All of those are perfectly valid options on Volcarona. Personally, I'm a big fan of either String Shot or Protect. Not really feeling Struggle Bug right now because I hate getting crit, but this set will be able to absolutely tank hits from Xerneas. At +2, a Timid Moonblast from on this spread, which is 92 HP, 164 special attack, and 252 speed with a timid nature, it's only going to be doing 60 to 71% with Moonblast on this Volcarona, allowing you to go ahead and force that thing out, and obviously a modest Moonblast wouldn't be able to KO you anyways. Now, if you're wondering what that 164 special attack is for, it's literally just enough special attack where if you're facing off versus an Assault Vest Rillaboom, which is one of the most popular sets right now, you're going to be able to two-shot it with Heat Wave. If you end up just opting for max special attack, it doesn't make too much of a difference, but you can go ahead and just get more bulk out of it by doing this, by throwing all the leftover special attack into your HP stat. It doesn't really matter for the Zacian matchup, mainly because you're still two-shotting Zacian. You are doing less damage than if you were to max it out, but two-shotting it is really good. The reason we max out the speed on this thing is because, you know, prior to a Geomancy, you're actually going to be able to outspeed the Xerneas, since you have base 100 and Xerneas has base 99, which is nice because you can go ahead and if you don't think you're going to be able to get off that Whirlwind, if you feel like you're going to get taunted or something, you should be able to just go for a Heat Wave and deal some decent damage to it prior to the special defense boost. So yeah, Volcarona, another really cool option for beating Xerneas and beating Zacian. So 2 of the best fairy types checked by 2 of the best fire types in the format. Next up, we have Celesteela, and I'm actually a huge fan of Celesteela for beating Xerneas. This is actually the Celesteela spread that I'm currently running on my Eternatus team. Now, what this is 252 HP, 116 defense, 140 special defense with a sassy nature. We're running leftovers and of course the abilities Beast Boost, Leech Seed, Protect, Flamethrower, Heavy Slam. Now, a Heavy Slam from Celesteela is absolutely devastating to Xerneas. It has the chance of doing 59 to 71% to a Xerneas because of that super effective damage, and that's with no attack investment whatsoever. Now, the reason we opt for a more defensive spread is because with leftovers and Leech Seed and everything, we're actually able to stall out Xerneas pretty effectively, with Moonblast at +2 only doing 49% maximum, which means after leftovers, and even before leftovers technically, it's going to be a 3-hit KO. So 2 Heavy Slams, absolutely free. You're able to get that off if you want to, and if you end up just Leech Seeding it, like if they don't have the option to Geomancy for some reason, you can just stall it out or just KO it. Do whatever you need to. It has a lot of options here. And also, once again, halfway decent versus Zacian. It's almost like we're checking 2 things at once with this whole list. You're going to be able to stall out Zacian pretty effectively with Sacred Sword not doing too much damage with that big defense stat. And you're going to be able to do it with Flamethrower or Leech Seed, whichever one you opt for. But yeah, that Heavy Slam is absolutely devastating versus Xerneas. And this is just overall a very solid Pokemon. Next up on the list, we have Ho-Oh, which has been seeing some big ups recently in the format, mainly once again because it beats 2 of the best fairy types in the format, 2 of the best Pokemon in the format, being Zacian and Xerneas. Now, Ho-Oh is actually really cool because of how perfectly it checks these Pokemon. It has a massive HP stat of 106, a massive attack stat at 130, and an incredible special defense stat at 154. That is kind of insane. It allows it to absolutely tank hits from Xerneas. At +2, a Timid Moonblast doesn't even get above 40%. It's literally sitting at 40% in the damage calculator right now. And that allows you to once again whirlwind this thing out, or go for a Sacred Fire or a Brave Bird. At that point, they're more concerned about the Ho-Oh than you should be concerned about the Xerneas, because you just tank those hits. On top of that, Ho-Oh does have access to the ability Regenerator, which allows it to slowly regain its health by switching in and out. I believe it's a third every time it switches in and out. And with how especially defensive it is, you can literally just run max attack, like max HP, max attack for special defense and be perfectly fine. Of course, you will want to calc it to outspeed whatever you feel is necessary for your team's particular needs. However, max is perfectly fine. You can really just wall out Xerneas to no end with this thing, and especially if you run Roost. But our set is Whirlwind, Sacred Fire, Protect, Brave Bird. So yeah, Ho-Oh, an absolutely phenomenal Pokemon for beating fairies overall in the format, whether it be Zacian or Xerneas. And that Sacred Fire Burn is especially really cool for just beating physical attackers. Now, our final Pokemon, and one that you should really not be surprised to see on this list, is of course Zacian Crowned. This Pokemon is one of the best in the entire format. It got slightly worse with Dynamax being gone, and that isn't because it doesn't hit as hard, because it technically hits just as hard, but the value went down because you're no longer able to one-shot a Dynamax Pokemon. But Zacian's absolutely massive attack stat of 170 increased by Intrepid Blade, or Intrepid Sword, which puts it at +1, makes it absolutely devastating. That's hitting 333 attack just naturally, pretty much naturally, because you get that on switching in. So at +1, obviously you're annihilating Xerneas. You can go for a Behemoth Blade, but even if you get intimidated, even if they switch in an Incineroar at -1, which is essentially neutral for a Zacian, you're going to be dealing 107 to 127% to a Xerneas. So that's incredible damage, and makes it so Xerneas really has to be cautious of what the Zacian's going to go for. And even at +2, because you're Steel type, you actually tank the Moonblast very easily, whether it's Modest or Timid. If it's a Timid, you're taking like 67% maximum, and if it's Modest, according to the damage calc right here, you're actually going to be going ahead and taking only slightly more at 74% maximum. So Zacian is an incredible Pokemon. It's also able to deal with a lot of Xerneas' partners. Xerneas tends to like to run Incineroar next to it, so Sacred Sword or Close Combat, both of those deal with it pretty well. Zacian is just overall an incredible Pokemon in the format. But yeah, those are my list of 5 ways to beat Xerneas in this format. Obviously, there are a bunch of other ways to beat it. You could technically beat a Xerneas with a Bronzong. You could technically beat a Xerneas with a Pyukumuku if you really felt like it, but they just aren't as viable in the format. And I wanted to share some that you might have overlooked or just weren't aware of. So Let me know what your favorite on this list is. Which one do you plan to run, and how do you plan on beating Xerneas on your team? What's your game plan? Let me know in the comment section down below, because every like and every comment helps the channel grow. And yeah, with that, I'm going to call it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like on it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.